Oh, come on in, come on in. Good to see you. Hello, I'm Jordan Maxwell, and I'm a radio talk show host. I produce videos and books and all kinds of material over the years. Since 1959-60, which is, I don't know, about 56 years ago, I began talking publicly about the chaos which was coming to America and the world in general. And sure enough, today, 60 years later, we are surrounded by the chaos and the madness that I was talking about some 6 decades ago. I realized that the world was on the wrong path a long time ago. Even as a teenager, I already had become interested in the influence of secret societies and powerful people behind the world scenes. The people in my life as a child, who were the adults, they seemed to be totally unaware of where the world was heading. And even as a kid, I realized that, and I don't know why I did, I just did. I knew there's something wrong because the adults do not seem to be able to do anything. Of course, they can complain. I mean, that's all I've ever heard from adults all my life, are people complaining, but they were never able to do anything about the problems. And so I surmised when I was in my mid-teens that we're not going to be able to change. We're just getting deeper and deeper in. And I began thinking about how long it takes for people to change, societies to change. And I'm figuring at least 50 to 70 years it will take before the society in which I grew up in the 1940s would finally be corrupted beyond belief. And so at 19 years old, 20 years old, I began speaking publicly in little venues. I'm talking about very little venues, mom and pop bookstores and ladies clubs and just little small venues. I began speaking about what I saw coming in the future, in which it would be as far as what I was saying is, I see the complete collapse of Western Christian civilization coming. And the reason why is because nobody seems to be able to do anything. Politicians and the people on the street all having one thing in common. They can complain and argue and discuss and argue about what the problems are, but nobody can do anything. And the reason why is very simple. I knew this a long time ago. The reason why the people of the world today, especially in America, are not able to actually do anything is because they have no power to do anything. And the reason why is very simple, because knowledge is power. Once you understand how the world actually in fact works, then you will discover that the world does not work the way you think it does. Nothing in this world works the way you think it does. Nothing. Police are not here to protect you. Banks do not loan money. Governments and insurance companies are not here to protect you. Banks are not here to serve you or commerce. The sheriff isn't here to do what you think he does. Nothing on this planet works the way you think it does, period. And I've been saying that for almost 56 years. And now today, unfortunately and unhappily, what I was saying is now happening. Some 56 years ago, I talked about the coming chaos in which America is going to find itself one day in the far future. Well, this is the far future, and we are now in the chaos that I was talking about a long time ago. So at this time, I have continued over the years to do radio, personal appearances, writing articles, and doing whatever I can to cause people to wake up and realize how much they don't know. I have always said, because I don't like ever presenting myself as an authority on anything, because in point of fact, I am not an authority on anything. I'm just an ordinary guy, like anybody else. I always try and say at the beginning of my shows, on any time I'm on the air, I am not the world's foremost authority on anything. I never have been and never will be. Because the one thing I have learned in my lifetime is how much I don't know. And therefore I am not a world foremost authority. But what I do bring to the table, which I feel, personally what I feel is of some value, is the associations I've had with so many incredibly important people in the world. Extraordinarily brilliant, strange people who know and can do wonderful and imaginative things, that have knowledge beyond the common world. My family goes back to 1776. One of my family signed the Declaration of Independence. His name was Carroll, C-A-R-R-O-L-L, Carroll, John Carroll. And it was the Carroll family who donated to George Washington. This is what I'm told by my family and from research. It was the Carroll family, which is my ancestors, who donated to George Washington at that time, after the American Revolution. They owned, it was a Catholic Jesuit family, I am told, that owned a large farm or ranch or whatever, piece of land back in the Virginia area. And they donated 10 miles square of their property to George Washington and the founding fathers of that time. And that 10 miles square that my family donated became known as Washington, D.C. So that today, I find myself in that strange position of being able to talk about the fall of America and the tragedies which are coming to this world, and especially to my country, in relation to the fact that it was my family who actually owned the property called Washington, D.C. The Carroll family, this entire thing I'm telling you about, was in a motion picture called National Treasure 1. National Treasure 1 was about the Carroll family. You go back and watch the movie. And it was kind of startling to me to see the Carroll family as now a main focus of a motion picture in Hollywood. Having said all of that, I'm saying this, that we are in trouble in America and around the world because we do not know how the world works. And this is what I've been trying to do for many years, is to explain to people the dark underbelly of Western civilization and how the world we live in actually works. And unless and until you understand that, you're never going to figure out the problems that our country and the world in general is having. Knowledge is power, and the people, as the scripture says, my people are dying from a lack of knowledge. Thank you. All right, well, I want to thank all of you for coming, and I appreciate you being here, and I suppose we'll talk later, if there is a later. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye. I mean, the golden rule is he who has the goal makes the rules.